Welcome back to the event here, the FAI Sailplane Grand Prix, the last day of the event. Had a couple of power issues. We've got a lot going on the airfield, bands and food trucks and lots of things happening. But I can tell you the race has just started and we've just passed the first turn point. Let's go and have a look at the action and see what's happening down there in the sky. If we zoom on down to the action, we can tell you where we are and break it down for you and see what's going on. Altitudes right now, not so good, just over 1,000 meters. Everybody's looking for a little bit of air. Two distinct groups, over to the left and over to the right, over to the west and over to the east. The big story right now is that Sebastian Carver, world champion, who's dominated this event all the way through, is not taking part in this race. He's in the sky, but he's up there being part of our media team. He's got enough points to qualify for the final in Chile in January, and we can see him there in the middle of the screen. Let's dive down amongst him and see what's going on and see how we're doing with those climb rates. Everybody right now, distance to the next turn is about 30 kilometers. It's 42.5 total to get to where we need to be. And here we are in his cockpit, Sebastian Carver's cockpit, with the thermal there, good climb rate going on, but he's not part of the action, so let's not dwell on him too much. He's just doing the photography right now. Let's look at these two groups and see who it's open to. As we know, the lead has changed backwards and forwards a little bit after Sebastian Carver, so we have the opportunity now for somebody to grab that place into the final in Chile, and it's open for about 7 or 8 people. Can we have a look at the overall results and just show you where we stand at the moment overnight before we started today's race? So you can see there, Sebastian Carver up at 45 points, so he can't be touched. He's definitely got his place in the final at the start of 2018. So it's open now for the next group all the way down to Thomas Dull. Thomas Dull, Andres Kuhl, Stephen Crabb, Herman Luca, Gintas Zub and Łukasz Wojcik have all got the opportunity now to grab that extra place into the final in Chile. Now there's also an opportunity that maybe one of these other pilots could get there too. It all depends on the other Grand Prix which are going to happen later on this year. But at the moment, back to the action and we'll see where we are and what's going on. It's all about looking for the air, looking for the climb. Today's conditions, we should find some good cumulus down as we start heading south towards the mountains. But in there now, we've got the big gaggle and the different climbs. And these different climb rates we can see of 2.5, 2.9, 3.5 meters a second for Dirk Windmuller, 1.8 for Gert Spielberg, and Stefan Trapp 4.5 meters a second, almost up to 5 meters a second climb rate. As we dive down amongst them, we're in the cockpit now with Stefan Trapp in this very slow ground speed as he carves round in the climb, 3.8, 3.7 meters a second. He was telling me earlier about another event. He was at a practice day and he was flying up and catching up with a little Cessna 185 that was climbing, and he overtook it and climbed higher and faster in his glider with no engine, of course. Well, look at that great view of this historic climb we've got of these pilots. You can see those ribbons coming out of the back on our Silent Wings view, showing where they've been and where they're heading to. So that big column of climb from down there with the last green up to the top, and uniform 2 with his orange track from Stephen Trapp. Rates of climb, best we've got going on right now, 2.7 meters a second. So we're going to have some good altitude. Let's look at the altitudes and see where they're at. What does it mean, all this rate of climb for these pilots? Well, it means at the top over 1,300 meters currently, Stephen Trapp, and just behind him, sorry, Stefan Trapp, and just behind him, Stephen Crabb, on just short of 1,200 meters. One of the turn points is already done. We started the race. We got through to 11.3 kilometers for the first turn point, and now we're heading 42.5 kilometers to the second turn point. You can see a great shot there of these gliders just circling around and waiting for somebody to make the move, heading up. Time to turn 30 kilometers. So we got a little bit of time before we get there. Let's have a look at the highlights from yesterday and showed you what happened in the competition, which put Sebastian Carver at the top of the pack. 16 takes the lead for the first time today. Been 333 kilometers from start to finish. Now yesterday's winner Sebastian Carver has got that finish line in his sights. Poland takes the win on day 7 and race number 5. Incredible.
Yeah.
Some great shots there of the race from yesterday, and some great action too. Fantastic, really. And the big story of the day is that Sebastian Carver has took himself out of this race. He's got enough points accumulated to take him through into the final in January. So it's all open now for our other pilots to get themselves not only the win for today, but those all-important points from this Grand Prix that's going to see them through to that prestigious final in South America in January. Let's look at the action and see where we are and see what's happening right now. I can see that somebody's making a move for it. He seems to be always the one that makes one of the earlier moves. It's Sierra 2, and it is Mark Lehnen from Germany heading off now on a northwesterly track for that second turn point. It's 42.5 kilometers away from the previous turn point, and he has currently got 28.7 kilometers to go. He's at 1,200 meters above the ground and just over 100 kilometers an hour. So it's all early days for him right now. As we know, it's always down to that last couple of turns. Sebastian Carver is up there at 1,600 meters, and we'll be back in a moment. And welcome back to the FAI Sailplane Grand Prix from Shermanoff Airfield here in Wrocław. It is the home of the World Games. That's heading our way on the 19th of July. Lots of events all over the town. I think there's over 20 different locations. And here at the airfield, we're going to be having the paramotoring accuracy. We've got the canopy piloting event and the gliders exhibition with their acrobatics. That's going to be the 3 events here on the airfield. A lot of stuff going on right now. Today we've got live music, we've got food trucks, there's a big party atmosphere, and tonight the awards ceremony, and hopefully too the final of the match play event. Looking down into the action, we can see Stefan Trapp with his Escalec sponsored glider, our partner of our partners of the event, which has normally been the last turn point, but we're not using it today. He's up at 1,000 meters and he needs to find a little bit of a climb. He's at just 166 kilometers an hour, being chased on the tail by 29 Lima. That's Bogdan Darasko here from Poland. It's a good race. It is in total. Let's have a look at the details of this heat. It's and 57 kilometers from start to finish, and it's all about the first one over the line. World champion and leader of the week, Sebastian Carver's drawn out of the race. He knows he doesn't need any more points, and so he's up there flying, but just doing it for the media team and for fun as well. We've filled his glider with GoPros and all the rest of the media equipment. On the screen, you can see the track now. It's big track, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 segments, whereas yesterday we only had the 3. It is the final of the day. A lot of the best weather was up to the northwest, but we can't go there because we've got some big parachute activity. The skydivers have stopped that activity, so we can't be there. Here we are now with Oscar Golf. He's had a good week as well. Rolf Gertzman now at 1,165 meters. It's all about 3 elements in this glider racing: having enough altitude, having the energy to get you up there, stay the altitude, and the height, and of course, winning the race. But just like in a sail race or even in a velodrome with the bikes, staying together in the pack, in the gaggle, as they call it here in Poland. I think they call it the pentathlon. Pentathlon, I think they called it. I think that's the word. So staying, using each other's energy, and waiting for that dash for the finish line. So it's task of 257 kilometers. We're in the air watching what's going on now with Herman Lutner. We've got 19 kilometers to go until we get to the second turn point of the event. We're just going to take a little break here in the studio, but we'll be back with all the live action and analysis in the next few minutes. Welcome back to the studio. It's the finals day of the FAI Sailplane Grand Prix here from Sherman Airfield. Let's have a look at just exactly what we're going to be doing today. It's Saturday morning here in Wrocław at Sherman Airfield. A great carnival atmosphere is upon us. It's the last day, the finals day of the race, the FAI Sailplane Grand Prix, and it's all heading up for a 10th final to find out who's got that place going into the big final in Chile in January. We know already Sebastian Carver cannot be touched. He's going to make it through. But who is going to join him? We'll find out as the day progresses. In the meantime, the party continues behind us. So the big news of the day is that Sebastian Carver is not competing. He's in the sky getting the images and getting the photographs and with the GoPros, but he's not competing in the event. But I can tell you, here's the current results as we went into today. Your top five: Stephen Crabb, Ireland, 15 points. Herman Luca from Germany also on 15 points. Andres Kuhl, Germany, 15 points as well. Gintas Zub from Lithuania on 19 points. And in the lead, there in second place, Łukasz Wojcik, 23, but Sebastian Carver all the way ahead on 45 points. He can't be touched. He's through to the final in Chile in January. So let's have a look at the action and see how we're doing as we head down to this next turn in the event. We have about 11 kilometers to go until we get to this next turn, which is the big west turn heading up that way. Next one after this is going to be 59, just not quite our longest one, but the second longest. Who have we got there getting into the cabin now with Mark Leenan, Sierra 2 in the lead? Only 6 kilometers from this turn point. It's going to be a turn to the west, southwest, and he's got some good altitude, 1400 meters. Distance to turn, Mark Leenan 5.8, and Bogdan is about 12.5 kilometers away from the turn point. So we've got around 5-6 kilometers in between the top three gliders right now, which is not much, as we know, so early in the race. Nothing really is decided until that kind of final dash, that last 20 minutes, until somebody decides to go for it. But there he is out in the front, leading on the last day right now. Here we are in the information on the bottom left. We got Bogdan. He's at just short of 1300 meters, 168 kilometers an hour. Looking at the right of the screen, you can see that big group moving forward, sweeping west, led by 29 Lima and Golf Papa Sierra, 29er, Oscar Golf, Charlie 65, Whiskey India November, and 37. They're all heading for this second turn point here today. It's the finals day of the FAI Sailplane Grand Prix. What an amazing week it has been, with action and content all week long. Yesterday we had some big cumulus clouds giving us the cumulus street, so these aircraft could just glide straight forward, rising up under the clouds, getting all the lift they needed. Today we know we're going to have some cumulus when we get around the south area, but at the moment it's just cruising along looking for this second turn point. Mark Leenan is 5 kilometers away. He's turned off the direction from that turn point, and we know normally he likes to fly as straight as he can. At the moment he's cruising around looking for a bit more height, and while he needs it, he's suddenly down at just over 650 meters. So he's going to needs to find some activity. We can't see what the clouds are like where he is right now, whether there's any cloud activity to be used for height, or whether he's just looking for thermal differences from the ground, the contrast between the forests and the open spaces and the warm air heating up the ground and releasing its energy up into the sky, which these gliders collect, take that energy, take the height, and add it to their bag of tricks they need to complete the race. Incredible glide ratio on these machines, 50-1. That means if you were to hold one in your hand at a kilometre above the ground, throw it straight in the no-wind conditions, you should have 50 kilometres of travel. Imagine that. An incredible performance. Incredible performance. So, signals. We're losing a couple of signals. We're getting the GPS system, which transmits down to us from the gliders here to the ground. We pick up those coordinates and it gets transferred magically by this wonderful system, Silent Wings, into the 3D representation of the action. Lots of teams of helpers have been here all week on the airfield. We've got at least 50 people have been here every day volunteering to make this event happen. A lot of these volunteers are young students, pilots, looking for airtime, looking for tuition time, swapping their valuable time for time in the air. And that's how aviation has worked for many, many years. Stefan Trapp from Germany on Uniform 2 is about to make this second turn point of the championships here today. There he goes, carving now to the left. All they've got to do is touch inside that turn point to make sure it qualifies. Great now with our system that we've got the GPS coordinates, and we can see it all on the screen there in the 3D quality. There it is. You can see all that for anybody not watching the live stream who wants to see from my own personal Facebook Live, just showing them there behind the scenes what's going on. So you can see that turn point, how easy it is for these pilots to make sure they've hit it. In the days gone by, they used to use cameras and they had to take a picture with their own camera out of the window, which had a time device, a stopwatch as well, so they could see at what time they actually took the photograph. Can you imagine? So here we are, the rest of the pack are moving their way towards that turn point, slowly but surely. Distance to turn for the next up is about 4 kilometers. Time to turn there for Gert, 4.2. Herman Luther, 6.3. And then sevens, just over 7 kilometers for Charlie 65, 29 Lima and Oscar Golf. 7.8 kilometers for Łukasz Wojcik and Dirk Windmuller, the young competitor from Germany. 7.8 kilometers to go. We'll come back in a couple of moments when these gliders, these sailplanes, are more or less at that turn point. So as you can see now, we're getting back to that turn point. Gert Spielberg from Germany is just heading in. He's going to make his turn now. Romeo Oscar, Michael Petzold from Germany as well, is making his turn, carving round on the inside. And I think we've got also Victor Yankee is also in there too. Andreas Kull down at 1,000 meters. Looking at these altitudes now, we can tell you that the altitudes we've got above sea level is the lowest one. Oh, Adam Chaleski, have we lost his signal again? Or is he back on the ground? He lost his signal yesterday as well. He's having a problem there with his transmission. Sebastian Carver, not competing today, just getting the images for us, so we don't have to look at what he's doing. So the lowest, Andreas Kull at just less than 1,000 meters, and up in this top of this pack, Rolf Gertzmann, 1,200 meters. So not the heady altitudes we saw yesterday yet, but I do believe as we start heading south towards the mountains, that's where we're going to see a little bit more action with the climb and with the cumulus clouds, which is where they generate the lift. Let's get in there now to the action with 37 Gert Spielberg. Time to the next turn, 57 kilometers exactly, and it is a 59 kilometer stretch. So south, heading south, 59 kilometers in his cabin. We can see over to his right hand side, that is Romeo Oscar, just got his signal back. Michael Petzold. So we've got these two Germans side by side racing themselves down south. It's not fast, just over 100 kilometers an hour. It must be into wind, 1,000 meters. Let's see them above. Zoom in a little bit and I can show you that we've got them side by side. Romeo Oscar with Victor Yankee and 3-7. So Romeo Oscar Victor Yankee and 3-7. All these Germans heading down south right now. Still in the lead. Out in front, I think it is, if I see distance to turn, I'm just going to coordinate with myself and just see what I'm getting here. It looks like the best we've got now is roughly Michael Petzold and Gert Spielberg. I'm not quite sure what happened to Stefan Trapp. Seems to have lost his U2 signal. He's behind a little bit there now, so he's not quite in the lead that he was before. And Sierra 2 still waiting around just after that turn point. Mark Leenan hasn't actually been to the turn point yet. He's still 2.5 kilometers away from it. So that's not where he wants to be right now. Still early in the race. It's a 257-kilometer race and still lots of action to come our way. Let's have a look at the highlights from yesterday. You can see how the race performed and how these pilots did, and our beautiful images brought to you by our media team. Leg 16 takes the lead for the first time today. Been 333 kilometers from start to finish. Now yesterday's winner Sebastian Carver has got that finish line in his sights. Poland takes the win on day 7 and race number 5. Incredible.
Yeah.
Yeah, some beautiful images there from yesterday. You can see all those videos are on YouTube, on the YouTube site of this airfield, so check them all out, and hopefully you'll enjoy all the work that's been put in by the media team here. So back to the action. Only one pilot yet to cross that second turn point. Zdzisław Bednarczuk from here, from Poland, is just cruising along there, 189 kilometers an hour. He's got the wind behind him and 1,300 meters, so he's got enough altitude as well. But back to the action at the top of the pack. Let's see the time to the next turn point. And it is looking like, as before, those two Germans at the front, Michael Petzold and Gert Spielberg, 48 and 49 kilometers. Look now as well, coming on the outside, 65, Stephen Crabb, Ireland, who now lives here in Poland, had a great race yesterday, and he was looking forward to today's race too. He's coming up there on the inside. Still far way too early to say what's going to happen. We've only flown 65 kilometers of the race, and it's a 257 kilometer event, this Grand Prix today. But it is open for the championships. It's open for somebody to take that prestigious second place into the Grand Prix in Chile in South America in January. It was, as we know, Sebastian Carver taking the win yesterday, and like he has all week, confirming himself through to the finals with 45 points. But we do now have 6 extra pilots who could take that second place and the place in the final. And depending on the other Grand Prix of this year, how they play out, we could find a third of the pilots from this event joining the other two in the final. So it could be Łukasz Wojcik, former world champion, Gintas Lube, Herman Luca, Stephen Crabb, Andreas Kull, or Thomas Dull. Any of those could be joining us in the final in January. Down into the action, looking down through the wing of Romeo Oscar with Michael Petzold, with that incredible finish he had a couple of nights ago when he was racing against Sebastian Carver. He actually crossed the line first, but he was too low. He was below 30 meters, which means that he got the time penalties, and it put him back in about 5th place. Here we have some thermal activity going on. Rates of climb, you can see them on the screen. Over to the right hand side, 1.4, not very much rates of climb right now. Yesterday we saw some amazing rates. We saw some people above 2,000 meters, and that's the only time this week we've seen that. I was told that's normal than what you would see, but we've only seen it once. Here we are, Sebastian Carver getting some great images from above, looking down on the pack with these GoPros that he's got on the wings and in the cabin, getting some great images from everybody. So we'll look forward to seeing all that on the highlights. It's the final day of competition, a big carnival atmosphere here on the airfield on Wrocław, here at Shermanov. We've got the normal every year occurrence of the Child's Day. I'm used to a Mother's Day and a Father's Day. Here in Poland, they have a Child's Day as well. And that means all the kids are out there with balloons and model aircraft and ice creams. And there's a big stage built. There's going to be some bands playing. There's already a band playing right now. Looking down at the goggle there with the climb rates, moving around, looking for the air, seeing where the climbs are. 0.6, 0.7 kilometers, not much at all. 1,000 meters above the ground. Seeing it from the side, you can see where everybody's at. We'll be back with some more analysis of the situation very shortly. And a warm welcome back to the studio. I'm joined by my psychic magic. Welcome back, my friend. It's good to have you here. Finals day of the FAI Sailplane Grand Prix. Lots of stuff going on. We've got bands, we've got food trucks, we've got lots of people here on the airfield. Apparently, we're going to have up to 15,000 people. It's incredible. So the big story we've got right now is that world champion Sebastian Carver has withdrawn from the race. Somebody passed me a message and said he's not competing. He's cancelled the race. So I was wondering, what does that mean? He's cancelled the race. Do we still have a competition? They said, yeah, the competition is still on, but he's come out of the competition because he's got enough points already to get through to the final. So he's up there taking photographs. Magic.
Yeah, that is a funny story because I started as a sniffer as usual today. The conditions at the beginning was very poor, just half a meter, not higher than 900 meters, but later on was a little better, and they decided to launch the competition.
Just to explain to people who are watching who doesn't know what a sniffer is, what we do, we before the competition, we get a glider in the sky, some local champion, to find out where the conditions are and what the air is doing and how we're going to do it. So that's been your job all week, hasn't it?
Yeah, as every day. I've got 2 cameras on my wings to receive some pictures and films from the gaggle, from the airfield, from the launching, and I flew about 2 hours. And they suddenly somebody shot me. Please go back to the field. We need you. Yeah, I just landed. They took my cameras. It seems that Sebastian Carver didn't launch with the competition. He took my cameras, and after half an hour after the rest of the pilots goes with the cameras to film them. And as we can see, they are together.
Well, we're going to look at some of the history of Sebastian in a moment, but first of all, I just want to look at the action and see, just to recap, where we are. So rates of climb right now, we've found some good thermal activity. There must be some big clouds down there where they are right now.
No.
But there's not. Well, look at these rates of climbs of 4 meters a second, and so there's no nice clouds down there.
No clouds. It's a blue sky thermal.
Okay, so they're getting some good rates of climb from it, aren't they?
Yeah, very good.
So Sierra 2 is off on his own there, Mark Leenan. Heading on down south with 43 kilometers to go, and the rest of the pack up at the top, just trying to get some more climb. So we've got some pictures of world champion Sebastian Carver, what you've brought to the studio, haven't you? We can have a look at 1 or 2 now. We'll just get one on screen. You can tell us a little bit about this.
It's a final of first big competition from Sebastian. It was junior. European Junior Championships, the first serious event for Sebastian. It was 1995. Yes, yeah. And the story is about the Sebastian. Sebastian leads the competition from the beginning. First, on this competition in 1995, we didn't have a GPS, logging, tracking, internet, nothing, and pilot can prove that they have full task finished by the cameras. Right. Just the cameras to make photos.
Just taking pictures like this.
Taking pictures at the cameras. That was. Time printing.
Yes.
As you can see, we can see the date, but of course it's possible to print the time, and that was the proving of making the competition in a good way.
Yeah.
And one competition about, I don't remember, it was 5th or 6th. They the task was 500 kilometers, and similar weather as today, blue sky, not good climbing, and everybody has landed in the fields.
Is that you there on the picture?
Yeah, as a young one, with Sebastian also.
Where was this? Where was that taken?
In Leszno. It was championship in Leszno.
Where's Leszno? Where is this?
70 kilometers north from us.
And it was a world championship, was it?
European Junior Championships.
Right, European
Yeah.
Junior Championships.
And as everybody, Sebastian has landed in the field, and unfortunately, the pity, his both cameras was stolen.
Really?
Yes.
Where was he at the time when they were stolen?
Yeah, this was
Wow.
just disappeared from the glider.
Wow.
But because we didn't have cell phones after landing, it was needed to go to find a
Of course,
phone,
yes.
to call to the airfield to ask somebody to go with the trailer. And the picture we can see. We will be back to the picture again. This is our national team, junior national team with Sebastian also. On the left, and back to the story. If the cameras was stolen, there was no record for this, and this competition was for zero. Unfortunately.
Wow.
And Sebastian has lost his leading, and I saw him. I spoke with him. He's very strong man, very stress resistant, very powerful, and of course he took a part with the next competition. He won next few competitions, the next task. But if one task is for zero, it's not possible to win the full competition. Yeah, but official winner was Austrian guy. Could you be back to these pictures? The first, not this one. And the podium was here. The Austrian guy, he has got gratulation for Sebastian. And then he took him to the first place, because everybody knows that Sebastian was the real winner of this.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So this guy here in the middle, he won, and he called Sebastian up onto the
Could you show the next picture with Sebastian on the podium? Yeah, this one.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, it was also great atmosphere. The guys are very fair.
Yeah.
So everybody knows that that's the brilliant talent. Everybody knows that in the next competition, Sebastian will take first place.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
That's really good.
And one picture with us. Maybe we can go back to this one. It was me. And on the left, and in the middle is Bogdan Dorożko.
Yes. Oh, really? Yes.
And Krzysztof Marogi. Krzysztof Marogi is a husband of Sebastian Schister.
Right.
The picture was make it not good visible. After the long wave, we took the diamond for gold badge over 5,000 meter climbing.
Yes.
Yeah. It was in 93.
I was in 93. Yeah. That's brilliant.
In Jelenia Góra.
Really good stuff.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. So we'll just take a little break, and we'll be back to all the action on the screen very shortly. And welcome back to the studio. Great look there at some of the history of this sport. And we're going to get some more pictures for you as well and bring them to you a little bit later on today. I think you like the kind of depth and the history of what's going on. It's the last day of the Sailplane Grand Prix here in Shermanhof. Let's look at the action and see where these pilots are right now. We are heading south down to the next turn point. 21.9 kilometers to go for Mark Lehnen. Distance to turn, he's in the lead. Just behind him, Stefan Trapp, Uniform 2 at 21.8 kilometers. Oscar Golf 27.7 and Łukasz Wojciech 27.9. I'm just looking now, which is that view? Are we looking at the, it's hard to see there, we're looking at the turn point from a north angle. The turn point they're heading down towards is number 4, I think there. That's where we're heading. So let's dive down behind them and look at them as they head towards that turn point. Shall we do that? Is that possible with the magic of this incredible 3D software? We can maybe just dive down and see. There we go. See the line of travel. So Uniform 2 and Sierra 2 heading off down there to listed as number 4 on our next turn point, which is 20 kilometers away. Looking for the air, looking for the lift. Let's look at the altitudes right now, see who's doing what on the climbs. We've got everybody on the screen. Altitudes 1,200 meters for Michael Petzoid and Zdzisław Bednarchuk at 1,167. Need some altitude from these guys. I need to find some lift. We'll be back with the action and see what's happening very shortly. And welcome back to the studio here in Wrocław at the airfield Shermanov. I'm joined by a good friend of mine, Marcus Hegenai.
Yeah, close. That's the closest you can get.
Thank you. He's the Events and Sports Director for the
Correct,
FAI.
yes.
We'll come back to that in a moment. Let's just have a quick look at the action just to see if anything's changed before we went off. If we can just go to the action on the screen here. Number 29 is Hermann Luchter from Germany. He's just in the Geigel there looking for a bit of altitude. Wow, he's quite low. Let's get those altitudes on the screen. He's down at just over 400 meters. And if I can bring you the other altitudes, we've got, Gerd Spielberg is down at 300 meters as well.
Ooh, that's low.
And Thomas Dull is down at 1, 2, 3, 4 people now down below 500 meters. Let's just have a look at what's going on here. They need to find a bit of height. They need to find some air from somewhere. It's blue sky thermaling, no clouds to help them down where they are, heading down to the next turn point, which is about 17 kilometers away. Up at the top, world champion Sebastian Carver's at 1300 meters. Unfortunately, he's not competing right now. He's took himself out of the competition because he's already got enough points to get himself through to the event, the final in Chile in January, which is very sporting of him actually, to let everybody else have a go. So somebody else is going to win today's race, but we need to find everybody back up into the sky. Gert Spielberg down less than 400 meters now. Let's look at these altitudes and see how it's going for these guys. It's suddenly taken us by surprise. Well, he's climbing now. He's found something, 1.5 meters a second. It's not a lot, but it's better than sinking. So, Rolf Gertzmann, Gert Spielberg, and Stefan Trapp, 425 meters. Hermann Luchter, 485 meters. Bogdan, everybody's quite low. Nobody's got much going on here. Wow.
Except Sebastian, okay.
Yeah, but he's just taking photos.
Yeah, he's doing a good job.
He is.
We need pictures as well.
We do indeed. It's all about the media. So talking about that a little bit, why don't we just keep one eye on the action there? Just tell me a little bit what it means for these events to have the FAI involved, and what does the FAI do?
Well, first of all, it's the pilots who do the show, of course. They do a wonderful race, and you do a wonderful PR job. No, really, it's important.
Thank you.
It's not enough to just fly. We need to bring the message across what gliding is about, what the competition is about, what task we fly. And I think that's very well done. So the FAI sanctions the event. It's a high-profile event for the FAI, the World Air Sports Federation, based in Lausanne. I'm pleased to be here. I have lots of things to discuss related to other competitions, but today is a great day to enjoy and have a nice time on the airfield and join you in the studio.
Thank you. It's good to have you, actually. We've spoken a few times in the past at different events, World Air Games and other FAI events, all over, haven't we? But the air sports, would you say the FAI covers all air sports, or is there some at the moment which are outside waiting to get in?
The FAI is covering everything that flies.
Right.
It's aero modeling, it's helicopters, ballooning, gliding, even records flown in space are part of our empire.
Yes, really, the Red Bull event, wasn't it?
Well, Red Bull, of course. At this very moment in Chiba in Japan, there's the Red Bull Air Race. That's also an FAI-sanctioned World Championship. Yeah,
I was having a little listen to the coverage before for a bit of professional angle just to see how they were doing it. They're doing okay.
Oh, they do a great job as well. Spectacular race, very professional, very high quality, very thrilling, a good storyline, very good.
Let's just have another look at these altitudes. Is everybody okay? Is everybody managing to climb a little bit? Let's just get those on the screen and see what's going on with our people down there. Well, we've got Stefan Krab at 388, but look at the Ryanair pilot from Lithuania, Gintas Zub, on Alfa Romeo, down at 286 meters.
It's a challenge.
It's a challenge for those guys right now.
Yes.
You're from a ballooning background.
Yes, I am. Yes.
Tell us about how the ballooning championships work, because there's more than one type of ballooning race, isn't there?
Well, yes. We don't have a stick. We can't really control the altitude by pulling something. It's just by changing altitude, because the wind flows at different speeds and different directions at different altitudes. Yeah. So good pilot reads the wind, and we fly in the morning very early or late in the afternoon when the air is stable, cools down, and when the air layers kind of form a pattern. And we change the altitude, and by changing we can deviate from the main track and have an angle and then aim at the goal. And that's working very well. The good pilots do it within centimeters after a 10-mile fly-in. It's really an impressive thing.
unlike those pesky skydivers who just jump out of the plane.
Well, yes. Yeah, well, I dropped some skydivers from a balloon as well in the past.
Yeah.
It's also strange for pilot to follow the guy falling vertically out of your basket.
I did my first jump from a balloon back in Arizona, I think 94. And I was telling you this morning, wasn't I?
Yes,
we had 3 or 4 skydivers in the basket, and about 3 or 4 other people who were non-skydivers. And before I left the basket, he said, "Man, you're crazy jumping out of a balloon out of a basket." And I said to him,
That's true.
Well, I wouldn't be standing there without a parachute. So
Sure. Well,
it's all a matter
we
of
have the big
perspective.
parachute, which is the balloon itself.
Yes.
The envelope is a very good help.
Let's have a look at these altitudes now back on the screen. Well, Gintasu, it looks like he's landed, doesn't it?
Well, it's not changing anymore.
Yeah, he's down there,
maybe
Gintasu.
Maybe he did an outlanding.
Because we are moving up towards a mountain, so that ground level is going to start increasing.
True. May well be. Yes.
Let's dive into the action and see what these climb rates are like.
It's nice to see this in real time. The update interval is really like a movie.
It's absolutely brilliant.
Stunning.
This Silent Wings.
Yeah.
Are we using it in other air sports?
Yes, we do. Air sports do a lot of development work to visualize what we are doing in the air.
Yeah.
And they are part of this. We have other races where we do similar things: ballooning, long distance races, general aviation, gliding for sure, hang gliding, paragliding. Basically, most sports now do some kind of real-time visualization.
And not always with the same product we've got here.
Well,
the
this is
Silent
now
Wings.
a high-end production. What we see here. I mean, your commentary, the whole thing is really second to none. I have to say.
I think it's time we start to spread it out through the
I think so.
through the
It's
catalogue of FAI sports.
Yes, and I also like your story angle. You're not an expert in gliding, but you pick it up and you take it from an interested external perspective and really transfer what you see into the language of people outside this room. So you very well transport the message to the audience globally.
Thank you very much. We were joking the other day about when I do the skydiving events, I always try and play the role of the audience. So I'm asking the questions that I already know, but I'm playing the role of the audience.
Of course.
Here, it's completely real. The questions I'm asking, because I don't really know what's going on.
Yes, it's good.
And I love this, how we see this historic flight. You can see the ribbons of what's going
It's
on.
stunning. It's really good. It's really good.
And look at that, looking from the side, it's all flat. There's no increase of height at all, no thermal activity. Down there now, I think Gintasu has had to land out.
I think he landed.
Yeah.
Yes.
Zdzisław Bednachuk from Poland is climbing up a little bit. Rolf Gertzman has got something on. Łukasz Wojcik, 542. But even Sebastian Coe, the world champion now, is down below 1,000 meters, even though he's not competing in this. It's very sporting of him to come out of the race and let everybody else have a go.
It's good. It's really interesting. So now there you see the mountain, the elevation, you see the terrain.
Yeah.
It's very interesting to see. So the glider pilots now obviously not only take the blue thermals into consideration, but also the elevation of the lift connected to the terrain, which we call orographic effect. Very interesting to see that.
You would use that in ballooning too?
Oh no, I hate thermals.
Right.
I mean, I like to decide by myself when I climb. So I use the burner, then I'm in control.
Right.
A thermal takes away that decision. That's why we fly early in the morning and late in the afternoon when there are 0 thermals.
You know, my first experience of all the plethora of air sports was probably the World Air Games in Dubai in 2015. I knew there was a lot of things flying around in the sky, but it was only when I got there and I saw the breadth of ways you can entertain yourself on a weekend outdoors. It's incredible. The guys with the model airplanes on these strings were cutting the strings behind them. The helicopters with the buckets of water.
That's exactly what we want to do more as FAI. The World Air Games were the Olympic Games of air sport, showing everything we have. So we are now working on a concept which we called Air Games Tour. We like to combine several very entertaining, very challenging, very visual sport disciplines, 3, 4, 5, 6, depending on the venue, and show these to the audience, to the media, to business partners in a very entertaining format and traveling the world. So this concept really is aiming at showing more than just one sport, but a bucket full of different disciplines over 3, 4 days.
Wow. I've just heard that live. I didn't know anything about that. I'll send you my CV. You need a good commentator for that. And you've just picked up the swooping event in Copenhagen.
Yes.
That's now an FAI freestyle event.
It is indeed, yes. We like to see what they do. They approached us to give it a different sportive recognition. You know, the FAI is the World Air Sports Federation and recognized by the International Olympic Committee, which opens doors, obviously, on a global scale, which individual organizers find it difficult to open. So we partnered with them. And we all benefit. It's a win-win situation for everybody to the benefit of the athletes.
Indeed it is. Time and rate of climb now 1.9, 2 meters a second for Gert Spielberg. Germany's found something. Michael Petzold, 1 meter per second. He's found something too. Everybody's on the way back up. But we have, let's look at the altitudes if we can now and see what's happening with the altitudes. We are moving into the mountains, so we're getting a unrealistic above sea level look of what's going on. We know this height we're showing you is the ASL, but we're not quite sure the altitudes as these mountains start to move.
I don't know. ASL is above sea level.
Yeah.
So the height above ground is now less than it used to be when they started the race.
257 kilometers is this race, the last task, this incredible event, this full week of
and pilots love it. When you talk to them, they all love it. It's just a nice competition format.
They seem to be having a great time.
Yes. And they compliment the organizers as well. So I notice in the briefing and when talking, you really pick up the tension and the atmosphere. Pilots love it. They feel very, very well covered. It's a professional, relaxed atmosphere, and they have a good time.
It's been the first big event here at this airfield at Shermanov since 1984. As an outsider looking in, I think they've done a good job.
Oh, excellent. Really. I'm going to this airfield for other reasons since 2.5 years, and you can see the change. This event, plus the World Games, which is happening here in 6 weeks, they really drive a change in the club and in the region. So you can really see the development path this club is taking, and this event is one of it. There's the World Games I mentioned and the Swoop Challenge next year, or World Championship actually. So there's a lot of development here. Very nice to see. Lots of young people. It draws local awareness and regional awareness. They do a very good job.
Well, everybody's getting a little bit of climb now. Most people are out of the danger zone. Maybe Gintas Suber's had to land. I think he has. He's on the ground. But he's had a great time. He's always got a big smile on his face. Now, for you, let's talk a little bit about your passion with the ballooning. There he is now. There's Gintas. That's having himself get the kettle on, make himself a nice little cup of coffee down there as he looks above at the action as it continues. He's going to take a while to get back from there, isn't he?
They're picking up with the car and the trailer.
And it's a nice day as well.
Oh yeah, it's a pleasant day.
So for you, ballooning is your thing. You've got a big event coming up at the end of, well, not at the end of the year, but in September. What's happening then?
Well, there's one of FAI's premier events. I would say it's the longest and oldest race, which we call Coupe Aéronautique Gordon Bennett, a long distance gas balloon race happening in Switzerland in a city called Gruyère, close to Lausanne. That's happening 8th of September.
Wow. And that's how long's that been going on for, that race?
Well, they take off. It's 23 teams from 13 countries, and they fly up to 90 hours, 90, non-stop.
Really?
That was the maximum time ever flown in Europe in a gas balloon, and the maximum distance flown in this kind of race in the US, 3,300 kilometers straight line in an open wicker basket through 4 nights.
So what kind of supplies do they have with them?
Well, they have, as lifting gas, they have hydrogen. And when they want to climb, they drop ballast, which is sand. And when they want to go down, they either wait for the natural cooling effect at night, or they release some gas. And by dropping ballast, climbing, and releasing lift, going down, they change their direction and speed.
And what about for food and drink?
Well, and toilet and sleeping, all happening in a 1x1 wicker basket.
Wow, incredible.
You better get along very well with your co-pilot.
Wow, can't wait to learn a little bit more about that.
Yes, it's a very, very entertaining event and championship as well.
Well, I'm glad you've joined us. If you're watching on the stream worldwide, we're getting great praise about this coverage. Everybody's really enjoying the event, and we are too. It is the FAI Sailplane Grand Prix, and it's the finals day, the last day. Everything's happening here on Shermanov Airfield. We've got the Child's Day of Poland as well, so lots of activity for that. We've got live bands and food stations. But we'll be back with the action in just a couple of minutes' time. Welcome back to the action here in the studio with me and Marcus, and a great insight into just what happens with the FAI. But back to the action on the screen. Thinks we've got something developing. It seems that we've got problems in the air, finding the thermals, finding the lift, and it looks like we've got a few people heading back, doesn't it?
Yes, looks like it. They're heading home.
Yeah. And a lot of these machines, a lot of these gliders have engines. In fact, one or two of them have engines, the jet engine, the same as Eve
true.
Rossi.
Yeah, there are two different kinds of engine actually. One engine is called sustainer, so the power is enough to keep them going, and others are called self-launchers, so the power of the engine is even strong enough that they can take off.
Wow.
And it's prop or even jet, yes.
Yeah. And is it the same jets which Eve Rossi is using? Or the jet
Well, it's very small. I think it's a similar technique, but actually quite comparable.
And do we know, I don't want to put you on the spot, but do you know the with the terminology of gliders and sailplanes, is it just different countries with different ways of using the same aircraft? Or I think sailplanes is an American expression, isn't it?
Well, they call it soaring.
Yeah.
The Americans call it soaring. We call it gliding, sailplane. It's all the same kind of. It's all powered by the energy of the sun.
It is indeed.
And that's surprising to see the performance of these super duper planes. Absolutely amazing.
50 to 1.
Even 60. The newest ones have 60 plus.
Incredible.
Yes.
It's absolutely incredible. Well, thanks for joining us in the studio.
It's a great pleasure.
And I hope we catch up with you before the end of the day.
Sure, anytime. Good luck, pilots.
Good luck, guys.
Come home safely. We watch for you.
It's Saturday morning here in Wrocław at Shermanhof Airfield. A great carnival atmosphere is upon us. It's the last day, the finals day of the race, the FAI Sailplane Grand Prix, and it's all heading up for a 10th final to find out who's got that place going into the big final in Chile in January. We know already Sebastian Carver cannot be touched. He's going to make it through. But who is going to join him? We'll find out as the day progresses. In the meantime, the party continues behind us. And a warm welcome back to the studio, the last day of the Sailplane Grand Prix. Let's have a look at the action which happened yesterday, the highlights of the event. Leg 16 takes the lead for the first time today. 333 kilometers from start to finish. Now, yesterday's winner, Sebastian Carver, has got that finish line in his sights. Poland takes the win on day 7 and race number 5. Incredible.
Yeah.
Hi, I'm Regan here in the studio. Let's look to the action. It seems we've got a lot of the pilots heading back to the airfield under their own power. Seems we've lost the altitude advantage and there's no thermal activity. So looking there, we think those group at the top, Uniform 2, Delta Tango 37 and Charlie 65 are heading back. That's the story right now. We've probably got 3 or 4 of the pilots still racing, but at the moment, we'll get back to you when we've checked it out. We're going to find out with the organisers and just see what information we've got there. But it looks like these pilots here, Golf Papa Sierra, Oscar Golf 29 Lima, and also Zulu Bravo and Whiskey India November. It looks like they're still racing. But we'll come back with a bit more information as soon as we have it. Welcome back. I'm joined once again by Magic, and we can have a look at the action and see what's been going on. I think we've had a couple of people who've had to land out. Let's get onto the action and bring it on the screen and see if we can tell a story. Magic, what's happened?
We have a report for 2 Outlanders, Ginta Zube,
Yeah.
and we don't know the second name. As you can see, Adam Szarski is also on the ground level.
Yes.
And Sebastian didn't, as we told before, didn't take part in the competition. He's at home, back
Yes.
home. He has got some cameras, make some movies with the competitors, and go back to the airfield.
And are some other people heading back to the airfield as well, do we think? Are some people coming back under their own power, or is everybody continuing with the race? Let's have a look. Let's go and look at the block of pilots at the front and just see what they're doing. Here we go. So 3-7 straight line. Looks like he's on his way back.
Yeah,
It's
his
been
way
like-
back to the airfield. He almost crossing the other river, with,
Yeah.
as you can see, green finish line.
So when they're going in a straight line like that and not losing any altitude, that suggests he's under his own power.
Also 29 is going wrong direction, more north.
Yeah.
Romeo Oscar also.
And Romeo Oscar is heading
Delta
north.
Tango also.
Yeah. So what do we think they're doing? What do you think that are they heading back here? Do you think? And there goes outside Ginta Zube's rescue crew heading out for him. Because the strange thing is, if they are heading back to the airfield, they're going in the wrong direction.
Yeah, they're going north, more north to Ścinawa.
So I wonder what's going on there. Anyway, let's look at the front pack. Let's see the people who are still racing, that are definitely still racing. Here we are heading down to our next turn point. It's a long way to go as well. We've got 50 kilometers. Oh, sorry, 6.7 kilometers to the next turn point. And we can see there Golf Papa Sierra, Sierra 2, 29 Lima, Oscar Golf, and Zulu Bravo. They're all in the race. They're all definitely still going and still heading through. It's going to be an interesting final, isn't it? Now we've got Sebastian Carver out of the race. It's open up to see any of these here, top 6, could take the win today. Well, Ginta Zube can't, he's already out, but these, Stephen Human Luchter, Andres Kuhl, Stephen Kraut, Thomas Dull, we're looking for, it's probably, I would imagine, going to be Łukasz Wojcik who's going to take the win. But distance to turn, 1, 2, 3, 4 of them, 5 of them, all just less than 7 kilometers.
Yeah, they are turning just before the turning point.
Yeah.
And over the forest, it's almost on the Karkonosze mountains. Just the turning point is a Castle Bolkov, old one, maybe for 13th or 12th century.
Is it really?
Yeah,
Wow.
very old, very old. Just the ruins of castle.
We can see it there.
Maybe we can see the castle
It's here
in
now,
the
isn't it?
city.
Is that in the center of the
Could you
picture?
zoom in a little? Yeah, more. Yeah, this is the castle.
Interesting.
It's on the hill.
Yeah, you can see the gradient all around.
Yeah, we expect them after the thermal. We expect the competitors over the castle.
Well, they've only got just over 6 kilometers to go to get there. Let's go back to the action and see where they are. Here they go. Still climbing. And let's have a look at their altitudes now. Difficult to give us these altitudes because we're in the mountains, we're not down at sea level. It's difficult to know what height.
That's why we are using sea level.
Yeah.
It's not a ground altitude to ground, but to sea level.
Yeah.
Usually in the mountains, the range of the thermal is higher than in the flat land.
And you get better lift from the mountains too. You get the air coming up over them. And
Yeah, also better lift.
important to keep their eyes on each other now as they're gaggling round. So we're going to take a little break in the studio. We'll be back with more analysis of just what's happening very shortly.
Yeah.
All right, the race is back on. This pack at the front, Magic, have set off to this turn point, about 5 kilometers away. Talk us through who's doing what.
Yeah, the group of 6 pilots goes to the second turning point, Bolków. They are all almost the same altitude, and going to the turning point, Zamek, Castle Bolków.
Yeah. Then we've got a short one after that, 16.3 kilometers. So they're heading that way now to this beautiful 12th century castle, you think it is?
Yeah.
Good speed, 100, just over 100. And 18 kilometers an hour. It looks like Golf Oscar Lima's rescue crew are on the way out. Maybe he's landed out.
Yeah, probably.
So Alfa Romeo, Gintas Zub, his team have already left to go and pick him up. And here we are in the cockpit with Rolf Gertzmann, 4.5 kilometers away from his next turn point. And he's at 940 meters, sinking a little bit. Quite a lot of sink going on.
Yeah, we can see panorama of Karkonosze Mountains.
Beautiful, isn't it?
Yeah.
So mountains to the south, flat lines in the middle, sea at the north. That's I was being told that's the geography of Poland. That's how it works. And once you get south, once you cross over the border, we are in
Czech.
In Czech.
Yes.
How far is it then from the border to the sea?
Whole Poland is about 550 kilometers, just straight line.
Yeah.
Sometimes there is completely different weather, north and south.
Right.
Of course, we can observe very often influence of the Karkonosze mountain here in Wrocław. For example, when is fan wind is blowing from the south,
Yeah.
we have a high temperature. Even in the winter, could be 10 degrees plus.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That'll change round when you get the north wind, though. Eh?
Yeah, exactly. Of course, we can use fan in mountains as a long wave.
Yeah.
Long wave means that gliders are going very high over the mountains, up to 8,000 meters, for example.
It's looked like a lot this week, from what I've been seeing on the meteorology report, that a lot of the weather's been coming from the Atlantic, through the UK, through Western Europe, and then here onto the mainland.
Yeah, now we have a continental air type. It means it's very hot, very stable mass, not moving,
Yeah.
and we expect the front tomorrow with storms.
Yeah, it was looking that way, wasn't it? By tomorrow lunchtime, there'll be quite a big downpours and clouds, and
Yeah,
this is going to be the last racing day, isn't it, for sure?
Yeah.
All right. So here we are, heading towards this turn point, 29 Lima, Whiskey India November, Golf Papa Sierra, Oscar Golf, and is it Sierra 2? It's hard to see, we just lost signal there from that pilot, but anyway, we're going to be very shortly at this turn point, 2.7 kilometers now. So a great chat, a little bit half an hour ago with the events and president of the events director of the FAI about different sports and aspects of the sport and the FAI and how it all works together. It was very interesting chat. So now we are 2 kilometers away with Sierra 2, Mark Leenan, and Oscar Golf and Golf Papa Sierra. Looking for a bit more altitude though, down below 800 meters right now, and we need something more. We're going to get round this bit and to the rest of the race.
It means that the conditions around the turning points are not very good.
Yeah.
They are very low, and as we can see, only 7 gliders, 7, 8, 9 gliders on the task now. Oh, sorry, we are on the altitude. Yeah. If we go to the descent, that was only 6 gliders moving to the point.
Yeah, 2.3 kilometers now for Dirk Windmiller from Germany, and everybody's around about the same place. We're all about 2.5 kilometers away, so it's still open now. Remember, the big story is Sebastian Coe was withdrew from the competition to allow. Well, he doesn't need to race. He's already through to the final. He doesn't need to exert any more energy. He still stayed in the air. In fact, he landed, collected the cameras from the media team, and went back to the skies to bring us some more fantastic images and videos, which I'm sure we'll be seeing over the next few days in the highlights of these events. Let's look now back down to the action. Time to turn point. It's not changing. They're gaggling around, trying to get a bit more altitude before they come those last 2 kilometers to this second turn point, isn't it? Oh, no, third. Is it the third?
Third, yes.
Third.
Książ, also Castle Książ.
Yes.
Not so old, but very beautiful. Yeah, we can zoom in.
Yeah.
Also, more. Yeah.
It's been a long time since I've been called, not very old, but very beautiful.
Yeah, it's very beautiful. Also on the hill.
Yeah.
On the top of the hill.
Do people live there right now? Is it a tourist attraction?
I think there's a lot of people in both of the castles to sightseeing.
Yeah.
And for sure from Bolków, from the top of the castle, there is a big tower.
Yeah.
It's a very good place to see the gliders around.
I bet it is, yeah.
Yeah.
That would be a great place to have a camera, wouldn't it? Watching catching the action. Right, well, rate of climb, got a bit of rate of climb going there. Is anybody making a move yet for this this point? Not yet, everybody's still gaggling around, collecting the air.
29 Lima, move to the turning point.
there he goes. 29 Lima. Bogdan, who we saw a picture of earlier when he was younger.
Yeah, younger guy.
Here he is now.
We flew together with Bogdan in Karkonosze Mountains to long wave.
Right,
Yeah.
really?
The same day we got the diamond for the badge.
Is that 5,000 kilometers?
5,000 meter climb.
Oh, 5,000 meter climb. How many diamonds is it that you need? Is it 3? Or is it 1 diamond?
3 diamonds.
3 diamonds, yes.
One is 3,000 meters climb.
Yeah.
Second is 5,000 and no. 3,000 is for gold C, gold badge, and you need to have 300 kilometers close
Yeah.
task and open task 500 kilometers.
Well, there he goes. He's in that turn point now. He's going to make his big carves to the left, get himself back out of there and start heading up the next leg, which is just a shorter one, 16.3 kilometers.
Yeah.
Not a long one at all.
But then not moving to the next point, they expect to have some. Exchange is okay. I didn't see the picture.
Yeah, it's just a short.
The next turning point is only 16 kilometers.
Yeah. And what's it called, the next one? Sean?
Change. It's from Prince.
Right.
Name Prince.
So there we go. How many people have we still got racing? This is the question. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Whiskey India November is up there. Is he still heading this way? Young Dirk Windmiller. What's he doing? What's Dirk doing?
Okay, with this altitude of India November, 805. Maybe he's turning now.
Is that what he's doing?
He's probably looking for from some thermal.
Yeah. Yeah.
29 Lima goes further, and the rest of the group is turning.
They're all going to collect a bit more altitude, I think. Right, we'll have a little break and we'll be back in the studio with more of the action very shortly. So welcome back to the studio. We've just had a little break there, having a walk around the airfield, Magic. Great atmosphere out there. Lots of people here today.
Yeah, we have also even according to Children's Day, just two days ago, we have some playgrounds for children, small castles to play, and it's very good fun for children.
And all the entertainment, does that carry on all the way to the night time?
Yeah, this will be out to our closing ceremony.
Right, incredible. Well, we'll look forward to that. So listen, let's have a look at the action back on the screen and see what's going on. We've got a gaggle of pilots just there at the moment. Let's get in amongst them and see who we've got. What's happening, Magic? We seem to have thinned the crowd out a little bit.
Yeah,
we don't seem to have as many people up there.
Just only two gliders, 29 Lima and Golf Papa Sierra, go further to Książ, and the rest of the group stay just after Bolków in the Gaggle.
Now I'm looking at the right hand side. We've only got information from 6 pilots at the moment. All the rest of them are not even on the screen. Does that mean they're out of the race? We don't have, normally we have 17 here. No, we've only got 6.
Probably they came back to the field in short time before, so we lose the signal.
So distance to turn now is on the screen for you. Dirk Windmiller, Rolf Gertzmann, Mark Lehnen, the Germans, 14 kilometres. It's only a 16 kilometre turn that we've got, 16 kilometre leg, should I say, that we've got on this race. And at the moment, let's try and recap and find out what's going on. We had some of the pilots have outlanded, we know that.
Yeah,
the conditions are not good.
Yeah, we know about two outlanders. Really in the field, and the rest use their engines.
So the ones we're looking at now, we got there, Alfa Romeo, Gintasub.
Yes, it's in the field.
Yeah.
This look good field, a very big one. So we have information that the trailer is going on the way.
Yeah. And there we have 29er. What's he doing? 29er, Herman Lutner. He's heading, well, where should the turn point be now? Which turn point are we heading for?
Is it correct race?
So we should be down here.
Down here, yeah.
Yeah.
But some 29 is, I think, back on the field, or?
No, he's heading towards us now here, isn't he? 29. We are here. The start line, so he's heading back.
But just the beginning of the race, yeah.
Yeah, well, maybe he's back at the airfield.
Maybe
after
he's back. Yeah. Romeo Oscar also.
Romeo Oscar too. So it looks like the people, if I'm correct, it's only my first time in the sport, but it looks like the people who are actually still in the race and competing are these that we can see on the screen now. Would you consider that to be a good estimate? Is it Sierra 2, Oscar Golf, Whiskey India November, and what about those on the right? Are they still in the race as well? Yeah, looks like they are. Golf Papa Sierra and 29 Lima.
I think, yeah.
Good. All right, well, we'll take a little break here in the studio and we'll be back with some more coverage in the next couple of minutes. All right, welcome back to the studio. This is something which never happens in this event. I've got Stephen Crum with me. Welcome, Steve.
Hello.
I was saying the other day that it's a strange sport in so much that when you want to do commentary, everybody is away doing it. So normally in other air sports, you haven't got everybody competing all at the same time. So you've always got one or two people around that you can get some good analysis from. And we're very lucky this week. We've got local talent Magic's been here as well, letting us know what's going on. But now, good for me, not so good for him, Stephen Stephen's back and he's going to join me for a little bit of analysis. What happened for you, first of all?
I had a really nice flight up until when I had to pop the engine out down in the Badlands in the south. Yeah,
you were like third, fourth for quite a lot of it.
Yeah, it was a gaggle. We were pretty much travelling in unison, as you could see from the tracking.
Yeah.
And north of the A2, which is a motorway which runs east-west through southern Poland, the conditions were quite good. We were getting 2 to 3, or 2 meter climbs.
Yeah, we saw that. Yeah.
Yeah, getting up to about 4,000 feet. Sorry, I do stuff in feet, so about 1,400 meters, something like this, and really okay. And as soon as we crossed that. There's a line, that A2, it was just dead. There was nothing.
Right.
We just glid from 3,500 feet pretty much to 600-700 feet above ground.
200
yeah, we all milled around over a little town, and it became stupidly low. So I put my engine out and off we came. But I was in the bottom of a weak thermal, which it looks like Łukasz Wojcik and some other guys are still in and still flying. A lot of people have popped their engine out and come back home.
Well, let's get down to the action. Let's have a look at exactly what's going on, Stephen. Let's see if we can analyse where we are. So, I think the information on the screen now, the right-hand side, those 6 signals, that means we've only got 6 people still in the competition.
Probably, yeah.
And you can see when it greys out, that means we're just losing the tracking right now. But the 6 we've got there, Whiskey India November, Sierra 2, Oscar Golf, Zulu Bravo, Golf Papa Sierra, and 29 Lima, are still in the race. Time to turn. 7.9, 8.6 kilometres. It's a short one this turn. It's only 16.3 this leg of the task. 257 is the total. So we're heading down now to this next turn, which is 16.3 kilometres in the leg. And we've got, having a look at the time to turn, if we just flick over to that, you can see about 8 kilometres now with Bogdan and Łukasz. Or in fact, we've got this Łukasz on the right hand side of the screen at the bottom, and we've got Rolf Gerksman on the left. So they're just tell me what they're doing now.
Well, it looks like Łukasz has just peeled into a climb. He's a pretty good guy to lead off on a blue day. Yeah, he's brave.
That's what Sebastian was saying.
And he's so it looks like he's climbing from quite low. And the other guys, because he's 580 meters, which is pretty low. They're over high ground here, so they're over the hills. Yeah. But the conditions, if it looks like they've got to the hills, the conditions in the hills should be better. There should be reasonably good thermals. So
remember, these heights are above sea level as well.
They're above sea level, So this ground is quite high here. So these guys are really not that high. See, Michael Petzold was, if we could see the altitudes, Michael Petzold was about 1,100 meters. But the other, Herman Lucker is down 165. I mean, he's landed, I think.
Yeah, for sure.
Mark Lehman, Łukasz and Rolf Gertsman, they're all on the ground. They're all very, very low. But if they can climb here, they can get to the turn point, and if they can get to the turn point and get a climb, they might be able to make it back north to the good stuff. So it's not over yet.
So in the briefing this morning in the meteorology, they were suggesting there might have been some good stuff down here in the south. There might have been some cumulus and
the conditions once you get back north of the motorway, they're really quite good. I mean, I used the motor and then I put it away. And the last climb I had was 2.5 meters to 4,000 feet.
Wow!
Above sea level. So and no problem. So if we'd gone in a different direction, it probably would have been a better day. But it's easy to say that in hindsight.
Great shot. I love this shot. Looking down the wing of the aircraft. Golf Papa Sierra. Łukasz Wojcik got a 0.9 climb. It's better than going down.
0.9 is good.
Yeah.
Today 0.9 out there is good, and he's going up, which means he's getting altitude again. And he's a good pilot, Łukasz. He's not world champion for nothing, and he's not still there. And he hasn't got an engine either. So he hasn't got an engine. No.
So he's got incentive to work a bit harder.
Yeah.
Do now we've got you here, you can help us a little bit. So here we are now in the climb. When do you decide you've got enough? When do you decide it's time to go for it?
You decide in conditions like this, you get as high as you can, so you milk every last drop.
Right.
If it's a gangbusters day, with good thermals, reliable cumulus, when the lifts start to drop and you're high enough that you feel comfortable, then you can easily get to the next climb. or you can see a line of energy, then you leave,
Right.
and you go. Or if you're playing it tactically, you hang around on a blue day and you'll wait for someone else to go first, so you don't have to be the one out in front trying to find a thermal. And that's what happens in these gaggles. The guy in top, it's kind of his responsibility to go, but sometimes they don't want to.
Oh, really? So once he knows he's got enough out of it, he should go, really.
Yeah.
So
but they're really good guys. They're like Wukash and Sebastians and these world. They'll just go,
right?
And they have enough confidence that they know they're going to find a thermal and dig themselves out of a hole if necessary.
And what about Sebastian pulling out of this one, letting everybody else have it?
He didn't need to do it today, so he's basically giving everyone else a free chance to have to make something of the day. And here he put a camera on and he went and did some photographs. So I think it's a really good thing to do.
Let's have a look at the overall results now of the championships and just see how it stands this morning before we went into today's race. We can tell you there the top 10, Adam on 8 points, Michael on 9, Zidju on 11, and then 12 with Thomas Dull, and then 15 with 3 yourself, Andres and Herman, and then 19 points Gintasub, 23 Wukash, and top Sebastian Carver. Now we're looking at these, obviously who's going to get through to Chile in January, and obviously Sebastian Carver's through. I was chatting with Sebastian, who's looking good then, where do we need to be, and he was saying anybody down to Thomas could, in fact, depending on the race today.
That's right. Zdzisław Benarchuk is still flying, Zulu Bravo, and he's a pretty handy pilot as well. Actually, all these guys are really good. And he's on 11 points, so if he can make it home, he could elevate himself up. Gintas has landed out, I believe, so he could get up in front of Gintas. But if we only have 5 finishers, the winner will get 5 points. But I think he gets 2 bonus points today, so he might get 7 points. So if Zdzisław gets 7 points, then he can possibly push himself up into second or third place.
And was there a chance of a bonus point for the first turn as well, for somebody who got to the first turn?
No,
it didn't happen. No,
I wish they did.
Okay.
We'd have had
Let's have a look at the results on the screen from yesterday's race and see what the points we got there. Then we can talk a bit about how many finished and who got what points. So this is yesterday's race now. And we can see the points. We went 10 points because we had 10 people finishing.
Yeah, we had 10 people finishing, so the winner gets 10 and the second guy gets 8 points. So there's a bonus point for winning. It doesn't go 10, 9, 8. It goes 10 and then 8. So you get 2 extra points over the next guy if you win. So there's a real incentive to push on and be the winner.
Interesting stuff, isn't it? Let's have a look at the highlights from yesterday, and we can show you just what happened to produce these results we've got on screen. Leg 16 takes the lead for the first time today. Been 333 kilometers from start to finish. Now yesterday's winner, Sebastian Carver, has got that finish line in his sights. Poland takes the win on day 7 and race number 5. Incredible. It's Saturday morning here in Wrocław at Shermanhof Airfield. A great carnival atmosphere is upon us. It's the last day, the finals day of the race, the FAI Sailplane Grand Prix, and it's all heading up for a 10th final to find out who's got that place going into the big final in Chile in January. We know already Sebastian Carver cannot be touched. He's going to make it through. But who is going to join him? We'll find out as the day progresses. In the meantime, the party continues behind us. So welcome back to the studio with myself, Regan Tetlock, and Stephen Crabb's joined us from Ireland, but who lives
Hi there.
in Poland.
I do, yeah. I live
So
in.
what happened there?
I met a Polish girl, in Bergfürstein in Germany at a gliding competition, strange
really?
enough. Yeah, more than probably 23 years ago, something like this.
Was she competing?
She wasn't. She was crewing for a Japanese guy.
Right.
Yeah, and I took a liking to her. And it kind of went from there, and we hooked up, and I ended up marrying her in 2000.
Fantastic.
Yep, and so I'm here. This is my local airfield here in Shermanhof.
That's brilliant.
Yep.
And I do believe there's a championships happening in the Czech Republic, a female championship.
There is, yeah. There's the women's worlds, I think, is going on in the Czech Republic, and there's 45 entrants in that. It's the women's gliding competition has become a very hot gliding competition.
So if it wasn't for that event this week, we might have had a few more women taking part in this.
We might have done, and there was a gal who was entered, but it would have been, and one of the Polish team gliders is down there. Papalima, the ASG-29 is down there flying. But they have women's championships, but also in men's world championships, not men's, but open. We have there's a couple, 2 or 3 women who fly, and there's some of them, and they're very competitive, very good. Right. So it's not just. It's not like weightlifting. It's not men's and women's sports. Yeah. We have very good female pilots.
We were talking to event and competition director from the FAI this morning, and he was telling us the actual general secretary of the FAI. She's a glider pilot as well.
Yes. Yeah.
Well, let's go to the action then, Stephen. Let's see what's going on. Let's get some analysis. So, heading down south, it's not your favourite down here, no?
No, down south, unfortunately, it's very dark green. There aren't many forests. There's the hills, which honestly, they're not really very good hills either.
Yeah, you'd think they would be.
You'd think they would be, but they're better than the surrounding fields. But the problem is that it's notoriously bad thermal country. Right. So if I had, if I could do it all again, we would set the task out to the east or probably to the north, where there's more forests and better conditions in the blue.
Must be a tricky job, eh?
It's really hard.
Wow. You really put yourself on the line.
Yeah. So you've got to make a decision. Marek said this morning when I said, why are we going to the south? He says, the weatherman says that's the best place to go, and I said, well, it's rubbish down there. He says, yeah, but it's a lottery. We don't know really, and sometimes they've got to make a decision because we've got to fly. And there's a saying that launch them and let the rules sort it out.
He was saying they wanted to go up to the northwest. There were some great conditions, but there were some other pesky aviators stopping that from happening.
That's right. Yeah, there's some to Jelenia Góra, which is a bit more to the west, and unfortunately there's a parachuting competition. We don't like parachuters.
I know, that's why I'm here. I'm bridging. I'm joining a bridge between the skydivers and the gliders.
It's absolutely not true. We don't dislike parachuters at all. Here in Shermanhof, it's very active parachuting airfield. So
only the weekend, though, isn't it? It's only the weekend.
Mostly the weekend, but sometimes during the week as well. Right. But it's very, very active for jumping here.
Yeah.
We coexist very, very, very happily.
Have you done any skydives yourself, Stephen?
I trained to do it. Unfortunately, it was in South Africa, and the skydiving mob I paid the money to.
Scarpered.
The guy who was providing the aeroplane, they hadn't paid their bills, so I didn't have an aeroplane. So I did all the training, but I didn't actually do the jump.
Oh no, that's unlucky. Well, it might have been a good reason. It might have been a good omen.
It was probably a good omen, yeah. Yes.
All right, back to the action here. 29 Lima, Zulu Bravo, Oscar Golf, Papa Sierra, Sierra 2, all about just between 5 and 4 kilometres away from this turn point. So at the moment, there's nothing in it.
There's nothing in it. These guys are all flying together. It'll be down to, if they make the turn point, what height they get there, and then they've got to face getting back across the gap, as I would call it,
the doldrums.
If they can make it back north of the river or north of the motorway, they should get home. There's thermals in the forest area, but they've got to get across, which is going to be tricky.
I was having a coffee with one of the pilots the other morning, and he was saying, "I'll tell you a secret." He said, "To be honest, it's all about the last two thermals."
That's right.
Every race.
Right. Yeah,
Is that true?
Yeah, it really is. It's all about keeping your water, so that you're good and heavy, so you can make a fast final glide and overtake other guys. And
of course, about the water,
yeah.
I don't know if I mean, maybe we've got some people who don't fly gliders, but I didn't realise this until last week. You actually fill the wings with water. I thought gliders were all about serene, slow flights in light machines. It's not. It's fast and they're heavy, aren't they?
No, it's not. It's not serene. It's you've got instruments in variometers beeping and chirping. The radio's going. You get some wind, quite a lot of wind noise, because we're cruising it quite often at 100 knots.
Yeah.
So it's that's like 150, 160, well, 200 kilometers an hour.
Yeah.
It's
free fall
fast.
speed.
Yeah. And so it's anything but serene, and you're having to make a decision literally every 30 seconds about what you do next.
Right.
So when you're competing, there's no let up. It's not.
You're not just kind of like great.
No.
That's what people think, don't they?
Yeah, they think, and it looks serene, and it's great. When you're, but before we start with gliders, and in the morning we fill them full of water to make them really heavy.
Yeah.
Which means we can actually cruise much faster. We can cruise 10 to 15 knots faster.
You've got wing loading.
You get much higher wing loading, and for the same sink rate, you can fly faster. You can cruise at with full of water and good conditions. You can cruise at 100, 105 knots. Without water, you'd be cruising at 85 to 90 knots.
Do they all have to be the same weight to begin with?
They do. They get weighed. Yeah. We get weighed. We're limited to 600 kilos. In my case, my glider's full of water and 600 kilos, which is good.
So I would carry less water than you then, wouldn't I?
You probably would if you've been a naughty boy. Then you end up having less water, and that can hit you as well when it gets really weak, because when it gets really weak, you dump all your water. Because the most important thing is to be able to climb in weak thermals. And if you're heavy, like you've got an engine or you've got a glider that's heavy, then you're at a disadvantage.
Well, let's have a look at this turn point. It's sneaking up on us. Golf Papa Sierra Wojciech is only 2.3 kilometres away. Do you know this area, this turn point we're going to use?
I do. I used to fly from Mirosławice airfield, which is just to the south of Wrocław. So I used to fly in this area.
Yeah.
And I know this area quite well, and I know how difficult and tricky it can be. And looking at their heights, these guys aren't getting very high. They're just surviving. They're at 750 meters, which is like 2,300 feet. That's above sea level.
Yes.
So
it's quite high terrain.
Yeah, it's high terrain. So they'll be at 1,500 feet above the terrain. But they can always fly, if you like, to the left or to the north and get away from the high stuff and go and find the field. So they're not in any real danger here. They can just turn back in. If they get low, they can fly out of the hills and back to the lowlands and pick a field or start their engines. So at the moment it's okay.
There's a big slog back up north, 65 kilometres.
65 to the next turn point. If they can get 50k to the north from this last not the last turn point, but from Książ, then they can probably get it home. Although it's starting to get late now as well. That's the other thing they've got.
Yeah, it's Saturday afternoon coming up on 4:45 in the afternoon here in the final day of the race, the Sailplane Grand Prix. It's been a great week, eh?
It's been fantastic. It's been a great competition, brilliantly organised, and we had excellent weather.
We've not lost one day
we lost one day for thunderstorms.
Yeah.
We had drop dead thunder, but that day was the day we had match racing.
Did you compete in that?
I didn't. I'm too chicken. I like a little bit of altitude when I do my final turn.
It was low down, wasn't it? Eh?
Yeah, it was great to watch.
Didn't they cross the line touching the ground, one of them, I think?
Might have done. They get pretty close. Yeah, it's quite easy. It looks like it's doing a low pass like that. It's not that difficult. You can judge it quite finely. But
you don't want to catch a wing, do you?
No, you have to be very careful that you don't turn before you pull up.
Yeah.
Or you will catch a wing.
Yeah. Wow, good point there.
Yeah. But these guys are all experienced pilots. They're well used to this kind of stuff.
So we're in the bit of a climb now. We've got Rolf Gertzman on the screen, 700 and change meters. He's flown 126 kilometers, and we've got 130 to go. So we're just not even halfway there yet. Average speed 50 kilometers an hour.
Yeah, but look at his climb rate. He's only got 0.3 meters per second, so it's not really a climb. It's just a survival
Clinging
stuff. It's going down and going up, and if you look at his altitude, he's not really gaining.
Let's have a look at the altitudes on the screen and see who's got what. So Dirk Windmiller's up at the top with just over 1,000 meters. Michael Petzoid 881, then Wuchek 8, just over 800, and a lot of action around 800. Rolf's down at 750. There's not much in it, is there? A couple of 100 meters from top to bottom.
Not really. I'm just looking at the altitude, and they are gaining. So they looks like they're in a climb, but it looks like Whiskey in India November has gone off to the turn, or maybe he's fired up his engine.
Oh, he's on his way back. Big straight line like that. Even I know that.
That looks like. Has he gone around the turn? I don't think so. No, Whiskey in November. He's fired his engine up. He's on his. He's as chicken, well, not chicken, as me.
He put out a bit longer.
Well, the problem is with an engine, you have to make the decision earlier to put your engine out. You can't leave it too late. If you do, and the engine doesn't work, you've basically...
You're committed, haven't you?
Well, you're committed, but you've got this massive air brake, especially with a G29, when the engine's popped out, you've got a huge sink rate. So,
of course.
Yeah. And if you haven't got a field, then you're in trouble if your engine doesn't start, because not only are you sinking like a stone, you haven't. You need to have it all sorted out. So you have less when things get tricky. You can, and you haven't got an engine. You can stay climbing longer because you can leave it longer. If you've got a field in mind, if you can see a safe place to land, you can just keep turning until really there is, that's it, it's finished, and then you go and land. But with an engine, you've got to make that decision 300-400 feet earlier. So it can be a disadvantage having an engine.
And Zulu Bravo, is he heading back as well?
He is, yeah. He's fired up his engine as well.
So he was at the same height as the rest of these guys. So if he's made the decision, Rolf's made the decision as well. Whiskey India,
unless they've been round the turn.
I don't think he has he?
It's hard.
I don't think Zitswaf actually made the turn.
No,
because look at his track now. What can we see in there?
Yeah,
one big straight line.
Yeah. The turn is
it's down here, isn't it?
3 or 4 kilometres to the south of him. Yeah.
So he's decided enough's enough.
Yeah, Oscar Golf is he's at 840, and he's the turn is too high for them.
So they've been holding there. He's been looking at it. He's been feeling it. He's not getting any height, and he said that's enough.
Yeah, the problem is I don't know. I'm not quite sure how high the challenge turn is, but they might be looking up at the turn from there. From where they are.
Yeah, that's a good point, isn't it?
Yeah, they can't really fly uphill. They're a bit stuck where they are, to be honest.
Well, on the last day of the competition, it's coming down to a very controversial end. But this is gliding, which is what
this is gliding. Yeah. Sometimes you get lucky, you'll get a lucky thermal and bang, up you go, and you'll get one guy finishes, you'll get a couple of points, and
it only takes one guy to finish, eh?
Only takes one guy to finish, yeah. Although in this scoring system, you have to finish to get points.
So let's have a look at the overall results again then, Stephen, while we're here, just to see, get a bit of analysis of what it could possibly mean. So who can get through to Chile from here, apart from those top 6 or 7? Anyone?
Right, I think it's pretty clear now with the number of finishers. If we had finishers now, we'd probably have 4 finishers, so there'll only be 4 points for it. So it looks like
they're all at the top of the pack anyway.
Yeah, that's right. So Wukash is almost certainly qualified.
Yeah.
Gintas Zub, I know he's landed out, but he's got 19 points, so he's qualified. 2-9 is already. 2-9 may still be flying. I'm not sure.
I think he headed back. I think I saw him.
Yeah. I'm not flying, and I'm not going to qualify.
Yeah.
More's the pity, because it would be great to go to Chile.
I'll bet.
Yeah, it'd be exciting, guy.
How do you get your machine there?
You put them in a container.
Right.
Yeah, you get 3-4 gliders in a container. Depends if you take trailers.
So split the cost between the.
Yeah, people gang together, and even federations will get together and sort out a container and pack the wings side by side, put the fuselage in, and sometimes upside down, and pack them tight, and put them on a ship and insure it well.
Like a lot of aviation, you need quite a good disposable link away.
Well, either that or live in poverty, which is what it depends how committed you are.
Let's have a look at the action. Got some big ribbons coming off there, the history of the flight that we've seen. Get down by the side. Let's dive down virtually with the silent wings and look across at what's going on. If we can dive down and look at the...
Looks like Wojciech is moving off somewhere else to try and find a better climb, and then he's coming back to the original thermal again. Because what happens, sometimes you think you're in a good thermal, you straighten up and head on track, and then bang, you hit the really good one.
Right.
So
interesting.
Sometimes it's worth moving around just to see if there's something better in the vicinity. So Wojciech moved out, and then didn't find anything, and he's come back again to hopefully climb. It looks like if those climb rates are correct that we're seeing there, they got 1.6 meters per second. That's
not bad at all. This could be the rescue. Look at Mark Limon now almost back up at 1,000 meters. Let's look at the other altitude, see where everybody is. So we got Mark at 1,000 meters. We got Dirk. Well, he's already headed back. So he's
so we've got Sierra 2, Oscar Golf, and GPS, haven't we?
Yeah.
Look at. So
I think we've only got.
They're climbing. They're up at 900. They're up at 900 meters, 1,000 meters. So they've.
I think it's only these three still racing. Isn't it?
It is, yeah. It looks like it. Of the ones we can see, Dirk has, I think, gone back. 29 Lima. Well, he's not on the screen, but he may still be in.
29 Lima now. I can't remember. I think he headed back. I think he actually headed back. Let's have a look. Oh, he's there. Just lost his signal for a moment.
Yeah, I think Bogdan will probably be there. I mean, he had a problem with his water ballast this morning, so he won't have any water now. That's for sure. They'll all be dry now.
He's been racing for many years, hasn't he?
He has. Yeah, he's a great pilot, Bogdan. His position here doesn't do him justice, to be honest. He came to the Leshno Cup. Late last year, and I think he won the 3 days. The first 3 days he flew, he won. But he dragged himself right up the listing, even though he missed 2 or 3 days in the beginning.
We had a great picture of him actually with Sebastian at one of the championships in the 90s. We had that picture online a little bit earlier on. I don't know if it's still got available to us, but if it is, we'll flick it on the screen. But right now, Oscar Golf.
Yep, they've left the thermal. They're heading down to the turnpike now.
Yeah, Sarah 2, Oscar Golf, side by side, heading down. This firm, I can't believe we've only done 126 out of 130 kilometres.
Yeah.
It feels like we're getting towards the end of the day.
230.
Yeah.
So they've got another 100 kilometres to do at least. Yeah.
It says we've got another 130 to do.
130 to do. Yeah. It's a tricky one, that's for sure.
Right.
Yep. Yeah, they're definitely heading for the turn, these guys.
Yes.
And they've got a bit of height, so the guys who must have put out their engines, they must have missed the bubble, because sometimes you'll have a group of guys climbing and you come in low at the bottom, hoping to climb, and it's gone. The whole thermal has sort of left the ground and it has gone up, and underneath it there's nothing, which can be quite soul destroying.
That's when it gets released from the energy gets released from a build up on the ground.
They can pulse thermals so that they get strong and then weak and strong and then weak, and if you miss the pulse, it's bad news.
Interesting stuff,
especially on a day like today.
Yeah,
but it's not windy. That's the saving grace for today. It's not too windy. So
we've had a lot of west wind, haven't we, this week?
We had, yesterday was quite windy, and the day before was very windy, but we still had good conditions because the air mass was better, and the task direction was a bit more favourable.
Right.
Yeah. Yesterday was a very good day. You can see by the speeds we were doing. Well, Sebastian did 120 kph, and the other guys were doing 117, 116 kilometers per hour around the task.
Yeah, they were motoring along, weren't they?
Yeah.
Well, we're through that one now, heading north again, up to... Wait, it's 52 kilometres this one, isn't it? We're going to be... or is it 64? Is this a big one?
It's 64k to the next turn,
65 actually now.
65k, so they've got to... Well, actually, they've got 30 kilometres to get up to where it's probably sensibly soarable again. Although, what time is it now?
It's just coming up on 5 p.m. 5
p.m. Well, we still probably have another hour and a half of soaring.
Right.
The other problem they've got is there's only 3 of them now, or maybe we've got 29 Lima, but his tracker's not showing.
Yeah.
But when you haven't got many guys, you can't spread out and find the climbs in the blue, and it is blue there. There isn't any cumulus.
So it gets tricky.
Well, it's good stuff. It's all action, and we're going to find out in a little bit exactly what's going on. Are they going to make it those next 30 kilometres to find the good stuff? We'll find out very shortly. We'll be back in the studio with me, and I hope Stephen's going to join us again.
All right, stay around, yeah?
Yeah, we're back in a couple of minutes. And a very warm welcome back to the FAI Sailplane Grand Prix. It's the end of the week, the end of the championships here in Shermanoff. I'm joined in the studio by Stephen Crabb, who's been competing all week, and he's back now giving us some expert analysis to this final race and these last three, I think. Is it 3 or 4 we've got?
3, maybe 4. We may have lost the tracker for 29 Lima. We think he's still flying.
Let's have a look at the action and see what's going on. Looks like we've got some climb going on there now.
Yep, they're climbing not very strongly. They've got 0.5, 0.6 meters per second, but they'll take anything they can get at the moment. While we were off air, they went round the turn point and they climbed up to 1,200, 1,300 meters.
Nice.
And they've lit out again, back down to 800 meters, but it looks like they're climbing. Now it says Wukash has got 1.8 meters per second.
Yeah.
Which is not a bad climb. So you can see his altitude gaining.
Yeah.
So it looks like he's just pulled into a stronger core.
Quite a big stretch, this one. 65 kilometres. They've done, 14 kilometres in it already, heading up north. You said if we get another 30 kilometres north, they'll find the good stuff again.
Yes, so once they get out of this poor thermal area, then they should be able to get home all right. But looking where they're climbing now, you can see on the ground features there's a what looks like a quarry.
Yeah, you'll get lift out of that.
You'll get lift out of that because the sun will hit the sides of the quarry and they'll generate thermals.
Yeah.
So there's still there's still a chance that these guys will make it round. You know, it's they don't give up easy.
Wukash can't because he doesn't have an engine.
He doesn't have an engine, that's right. It's a good incentive to fight on and get home.
Plugging away.
Yeah, no matter how long it takes you to get home, fighting in the air, it takes even longer if you land out because you've got to get the guys who've got to come and get you with the trailer and all the rest of it and find you in the field, etc.
Just sat there waiting.
Yeah. So it's better to fly if you can keep flying and
in the old
keep hoping.
With no GPS and no mobile phones in the past, they'd land in a field and nobody knew where they were.
Well, yeah, we didn't have GPSs, we didn't have mobile phones. We had to go and find a friendly farmer. And in Poland, that's very easy because they're all friendly.
Yeah.
But in other countries, they can be a little unfriendly. Get off my land. I've been threatened with a shotgun once. Yeah.
Wow.
But that was a long time ago, and it was in the fens.
Yeah.
In East Anglia.
And it had nothing to do with gliding either. It's a different story altogether.
Yeah. No. It was definitely gliding.
All right. So listen, these machines that we're using, Stephen, and I've learned during the week, we have the types. And this ASG 29E seems like a...
Yeah, that was or still is, if you like, the de facto standard 18-meter glider.
Yeah.
And it's been around for probably best part of 15 years. You can have it in 15 or 18-meter versions. You can change the winglets on it, so you can have a less performance but better handling for 15-meter with more performance in 18-meter. And 18-meter is more popular.
Yeah.
But more recently, a South African company called Jonker Sailplanes have created the JS1 and now the JS1 Evo, which is what Wukash is flying. He's not flying an Evo, he's just flying a JS1.
Yeah.
And they're very good as well. They're easily as good as the ASG 29. So it's great that there's competition in the between manufacturers.
Right.
Also flying in this competition, there's Gerd Spiegelberg in 37. That's an Antares 18T. That's another German glider.
Right.
And we have Stefan Trapp, not Stefan Crab like me. He's flying a Ventus 2CXT, which is also, they're all pretty much the same. It's a bit like single formula racing. There isn't much in the gliders. It really is down to the pilots in this game.
And these ASGs, where are they from?
The ASGs are from Alexander Schleicher. It's another German company.
Right.
Generally, gliders come from Germany, and that's a throwback from World War II, believe it or not.
Is it?
Yeah, because the Germans were not allowed to build power airplanes, so they had a lot of
incredible.
They had a lot of good aerodynamicists and people who wanted to build airplanes, but they weren't allowed to build power aircraft, so they set their mind to building gliders.
That's incredible.
And so they ended up monopolizing the glider manufacturing.
And these ASH, are they the same company?
The ASH is a Schleicher glider as well, yeah. It's an ASH-31. That's what Mark Lehman's flying at, Sierra 2. Yeah. Again, that's a very good glider. They're all pretty competitive. And Stan Wrubel, who's a Polish pilot, he's flying in an Ash 26E.
Yeah.
That's different in Sierra 2, the ASH-31, and the Ash 26E of Mark Lehman and Stanislav Wrubel they're self-launchers. You can actually take off from the airfield with those. Whereas the ASG-29E and the JS1, the engines on those will let you continue. You can pop them out in flight and start the engine up, and you can climb gently, and it'll get you home. But you can't launch with it.
You wouldn't launch with it.
The JS1s have got a jet engine. I mean, that's they sound like a 737 when they they really do. Yeah, very very noisy, but they're very good. It works very well. Although not for Golf Oscar Lima, Adam Chelatsky today, because he's landed in a field, and I did see him early this morning playing with his jet engine, and I think he had a bit of a problem with it. So he was back to good old field landings and finding the farmer.
Yeah, he's had a couple of good days, really. His transition, his AS Gen, no, what's it called? The transmission system, for the GPS.
That
wasn't working yesterday.
Oh, okay, yeah, he had a problem. I think he probably lost his GPS and his loggers. So I know he came home. I think he also he had a bad day yesterday. So I think he was possibly unwell as well. So,
well, there we go then. Back with our Three Musketeers.
And they're getting pretty low now. They're 646 metres above ground.
That's not much, is it?
That's not much. There.
Sierra 2 is less than 500.
Yeah, they're still in. They still have a chance. It's not 635 metres above ground. That's above sea level.
Yeah, so
we got to knock another 100 metres off that, say.
Yeah.
So that's 500 metres. So they're at 1,500 feet. So they're starting to think,
it's getting low,
we need a climb. But they've been in this position a few times already today.
Yeah.
So they'll be used to flying at low altitude, and they'll hopefully get a climb and carry on fighting. But
it's near where you said, because it's 65 kilometres this leg, and they've got 40, just less than 45 kilometres of this bit done. So they've done 20. And you said that they can get 30 out of the way. They might find some better
if they can cross across this the gap.
So another 10.
Another 10 or 15k. Hopefully they may get to the back to the forests, because at the moment it's the forests that seem to be working. Or the high ground. They've left the high ground, so they've got to bridge the gap between the high ground and the forests.
Yeah.
They may get lucky. They may find a climb. But when I flew across there earlier today, it was just dead. It was like dead air, It's like flying over the sea.
Yeah. What's your cut-off point? Down at 500 metres or less?
No. I stopped at 1,000 feet. But so that would have been about 300 metres.
Yeah.
But I have an engine, so I had to leave myself time to start, because when we start the ASG-29, it's got a two-stroke engine.
Oh yeah.
And it hasn't got a starter, so you've got to dive at the ground to get the thing started.
Really?
Yeah, and when you're low, diving at the ground isn't something that you're interested in doing.
No.
So it's can be quite stressful. So you need to leave yourself enough height to make the maneuver.
That was the deal.
Yeah.
So that is quite incredible, isn't it?
That's right. I mean, people have had nasty accidents with engines that don't start. So you do have to be careful.
Aviation, never run out of ideas and altitude at the same time.
Absolutely.
That's the plan. We're back in a couple of minutes. We're just going to have a slight little break, and we're back in the studio very shortly. Leg 16 takes the lead for the first time today. 133 kilometers from start to finish. Now, yesterday's winner, Sebastian Carver, has got that finish line in his sights. Holland takes the win on day 7 and race number 5. Incredible.
Yeah.
Welcome back with Stephen Crabbe and me, Regan Tetlow, in the studio, bringing you the analysis to the final day of the championships here, the FAI Sailplane Grand Prix. We've just seen one of the highlight videos there, Stephen. The team here have been bashing out the highlight videos every day for you.
It's been fantastic. They've done a wonderful job in presenting Sailplane Grand Prix and gliding. The media has been extremely professional. Lots of content, lots of great interviews. Regan's been doing a fine job making it exciting. And the guys on the ground here, they're all volunteers. No one's getting paid for this. And it's they're doing an absolutely wonderful job. It's I've watched a lot of Sailplane Grand Prix because I'm like you guys out there. When there's another event on, I'm glued to the screen. And this has been, in terms of media and coverage and getting gliding out there, by far and away the best event I've been involved with or seen. In fact, it's the best event in gliding that I've been involved with in terms of media. Fantastic.
Well, it's good to set the standard, and let's hope that standard can continue at other events as well. If you are watching and you've got your event coming up, let us know. Call the A-team. So anyway, back to the action. Let's see what's going on the screen here, Stephen.
I think we're probably watching Wukash in his death throes at the moment.
Yeah. It looks like Sarah 2's.
Literally. That's someone who's put his engine out. We've just had a finisher go past the window here. It's quite exciting on the airfield.
Yeah.
But unless Wukash is climbing, he's probably got a field in mind. He's down at 409 meters, which is 300 meters above ground, so he's 1,000 feet, and he can't really move from there unless someone else finds a climb from him. If he's got anything at all, he'll stick there, even if it's gentle sink, and hope maybe it's a thermal that will pulse again.
Right.
But looking at his vario, he's going down. Yeah. And it might be the end, but you never know.
Well, we did. Who was still in the race? It was Oscar Golf for Rolls Gertsen, but is he set off back? Let's just zoom out a little bit and have a look. I think he's set off back. I think he's got his engine on.
Looks like he has done, yeah.
Sierra 2's
got an engine, he looks like he's flying straight going up. That doesn't happen out there.
No. Oscar Golf doing the same.
Yeah, and poor Wukash, all by himself. He hasn't got an engine in his glider. He's got a JS1 without an engine. Sebastian had an engine. He was, like I say earlier, he was flying around taking pictures of us today. But Sierra 2's definitely put his engine out. He's flying straight, going up. That doesn't happen normally in gliding unless you're under a crazy good cloud streak. But there's none of that out there. So we have Wukash left. I think momentarily, yeah.
Let's get into Wukash. Let's see what's going on. Let's get side by side with him and watch this descent as he slowly eases his way down minus.
Well, his ground speed is 40. Has he landed? In fact,
might have already landed, Or
maybe we just lost him on because when you get low, sometimes the tracker signal, we lose that.
Right.
Yeah, but Wukash is a very good pilot. He will have picked a good field. Yeah, and there's a lot of good fields out there. So it shouldn't be a problem. He's landed out 2 or 3 times this week and without any problems.
Well, it looks like that's probably going to be a wrap for the day, Stephen.
I think so, yeah. And it looks like the scores from yesterday will stand the overalls, I think.
Can we get those scores on screen? I'm not quite sure we can at the moment. There's overall scores. Let's just check into the system. So we finished off yesterday, 10th place, 8 points for Golf, Oscar Lima 9th, Michael Petzoid 8th, Ziswas Benachuk, is that good? Is that a good expression?
Not bad.
7th, Thomas Dull, 6 under is cool, 5, Stephen Crabbe here in this video, 4, Herman Luca, 3, Ginter Sub, 2nd, Wukash Wojciech, my favourite name to say, and number 1, Sebastian Carver. Looks like that's the end of the score. So it seems Now, make sure I'm not making a big mistake here. Going through to Chile is going to be Sebastian Carver and Łukasz Wojcik.
It looks like that, yeah. And that's pretty much, if you were a betting man before the competition started, you'd say those two guys would be winning this. And Gintas probably third, because
depending on the other results of the other championships or not.
The third place from this championship, because we've had a lot of days and quite a lot of pilots in this event. There's a good chance that the third place will get a place in Chile. However, I do know that Gintas is going to fly another 2 Sailplane Grand Prix. So even if he doesn't get a place from this, he'll probably get a place from one of the other competitions. He's a very good pilot, Gintas.
Let's just go back to the screen here, Stephen, because it looks like we've got something back from Łukasz Wojcik. It looks like he's got a bit of a climb. 0.1 meters per second, up at 360 meters, and is he the only pilot still in the race? Is he going to make it back on his own? Wow.
Well, he's not. He's not going down anymore, and he's possibly going up. Yeah. So
just when we thought it was time for an early bath.
That's right. But the fact that the other 2 guys have started their engines mean that Łukasz is the only guy left in the race, because once you start your engine, you're effectively landed out, which means 0 points in this competition.
So the best he can do is 1 point.
The best Łukasz can get is 1 point and an extra point, so he'll get a bonus point for winning.
Yeah.
Even though he only gets 1 point.
Will that help him with Chile or not? Or
no, it'll make no difference. I mean, he can relax now. Actually, he'll know as well that his second place is secure, because he'll see the other guys started their engines, and he'll know that there's no way anyone can catch him now. But he's also started to sink again. I think he'll be into one of these fields by this village.
Do you ever chat with each other on the radios, or is that football? You would never do that.
No, we chat. Yeah, the team flying is a big thing. Although in Sailplane Grand Prix, team flying doesn't happen. It's individuals. Yeah. But in World Championships and other championships, you'll have 2 pilots will talk a lot and discuss options and tactics on the flight, and which routine to go, whether left looks better or right looks better, or which set of clouds looks better. And there's a lot of chat goes on between teammates. And Łukasz and Sebastian would fly together as teammates in World Championships, but they won't be communicating in this competition. There's one frequency you can use, which is the airfield frequency.
Oh, really? It's just that one frequency?
Just that one frequency, and it's illegal to use any other frequencies in this competition. And it's to stop people from pair flying, from team flying, and gaining an advantage.
Yes.
Which is fair enough.
No, I suppose it absolutely is as well. Yeah. We've got 7 Polish pilots, 7 German pilots in the
Mind you, it's very hard to tell if someone picks a sneaky frequency.
No, I was just going to say, how would you know? SMS? Facebook message?
That's right. Soon it will be uncontrolled.
Well, it's looking like that's going to be it. The signal's gone there. Maybe it's a bit low again. These 2 guys are definitely heading back under par, aren't they?
They are definitely, yeah. They're climbing. They're flying straight, going up. But there's no magic here. That they're definitely using their engines.
Yeah. Well, after 8 days.
You can see Łukasz he's landed. He's landed in that field next to the road.
Looks like he's on the road from this.
You can see the height here, but his glider has stopped. Maybe he's still flying, or maybe we've just lost the tracker. Yeah. But that looks like a reasonable field. Although what we're looking at here is not what you see when you're flying, because this is obviously a Google map or other image. Yes. A satellite picture, and it may have been taken a year ago.
Could be a football stadium.
It could be a football stadium, and it looks like this is taken either very early spring or autumn, because all the fields are brown.
Brown, yeah.
But when we're flying over there, all these fields are full of crops and green. Yeah. But there's still plenty of fields to choose to make a safe landing out there. They're flat, and should be no problems.
Well, thanks for joining us in the studio, Stephen, to end up the presentation of the week. I hope you've enjoyed it.
It's been fantastic. It's been a great week. One of the best competitions I've ever flown.
Great stuff.
Yeah.
Well, the big story here from the airfield is that we didn't have a finisher today, but we do have people through to the final of the Grand Prix, the Sailplane Grand Prix in Chile in January. So keep your eyes on that. From all of us here on the production team, from the staff, the volunteers and the pilots, and everybody who's been involved as well, we want to say thank you very much for joining us every day, and of course for all your great feedback we've been receiving as well through the messages. All the highlight videos are going to be available for you on Facebook and on YouTube, of course. And a big thank you as well to the FAI for making this event as special as it has been. But from all of us here now and in the studio, and look at there, you've got the information at the top. You can see all the details on there from us here in the studio and from the Sailplane Grand Prix here in Poland. It's a very good afternoon. We hope you've enjoyed it, and we'll see you soon. Bye-bye.
Goodbye.